Okay, so you enter a coffee shop. First of all, you get out of your house, decide that you want to go to the coffee shop, and you decide that this is a day that I want to break all my comfort zones. With all determination, you're there with all the confidence because you think that all the guests over here know their coffee, all the baristas over here know their coffee, and you're the only person who does not understand what the menu is. That's not the case. We are like, there are several people like this, which is no shame, no harm. So you have now reached the counter, you have opened the doors, you reach the counter, and the barista says XYZ things, and then you're like, wait, what do I order? So this is exactly what we don't want after this video. You just open up the menu and let's do one thing now. Understand one thing, that a coffee shop will have a menu which will be divided into like maybe 5 categories. Maybe. One is the espresso beverages, which is your espresso americano. Espresso is also called as doppio. It's nothing but a concentrated shot of espresso, alright? You'll get americano, you'll get iced americano. Moving on to the next category is with milk. So same espresso will be added with milk, which will be a latte, a cappuccino, maybe a flat white, maybe a cortado, alright? These things you'll always see. So just remember, without making it too complicated, latte is lot milkier, cappuccino is strong, quote unquote. A better word for that is bold. Flat white is much smoother and sweeter, and your cortado is much more bolder. That's much bolder than your cappuccino, alright? Less in quantity you'll get. That's about it. Even if you skip through this entire description of the video, that's okay. Coming back to the category, you got espresso, you got milk-based hot beverages, you got milk-based cold beverages, and then you've got a manual bar. The manual bar menu will have different equipments, which will be AeroPress, siphon, Chemex, and all those things. You'll be asked that this coffee is there, how do you want it? Do you want it in a pour over or a Chemex? Alright. So it is nothing but, do you want the coffee to be brewed in certain way in different techniques? That's it. So this is the entire framework of a cafe menu. And then there will be specials. So specials will range from cafe to cafe, roastery to cafe, roastery to roastery, and that is something which you have to ask the brewer. This is all what a cafe menu is all about. So there's nothing to be complex about. The words of single origin, the word of blend, the words of extraction, the word of ratio, all these things will be thrown at you probably, but you got to remember, the way it is thrown at you, the way it is being asked to you, that approach should be better, and that depends on the brewer and the host and the cafe that you're going. But you as a guest, I think this is more than enough for you to know. If you are at a stage where you just want plain simple black coffee or plain simple classic cold coffee, you just have to tell the host that I want plain simple iced coffee. I don't want any jazz. I don't want to know your specials and all. Just give me plain simple iced coffee. 95% of the times probably you'll get an iced latte, which is nothing but iced latte, which is latte was hot. You get espresso, you get cold milk on ice and a little bit sugar syrup. Similarly, if you want a hot cup of coffee and if you want to go and say ki, I just want a hot cup of coffee, you just order cappuccino. If you want to tell them like, hey, you know what, you can add a little bit of chocolate powder in that because I like it a little sweeter. Your lattes, hot beverages will not have sugar in it. They won't give you sugar inside that. They'll give you on the side as to how you want it. That is how it should be, by the way. If some cafes are serving coffee, sugar inside the coffee in a hot beverage, that's stupid. So don't do that. Hot coffee is cappuccino. Remember that. Start drinking those cappuccinos. Get yourself comfortable in the environment. Then let's graduate to a different question altogether and then ask the host that, hey, you know what, I loved your cappuccino or whatever, did not work out or however. Now I want to move to your specials. So can you please tell me what your specials are? That is how you take it ahead without overwhelming yourself. Now another thing, any brewer, any host, anybody replying to you in a very derogatory manner, you don't want to go to that cafe ever, or make sure that you report that to the management that, you know, this is not what I expected over here. Can you please work that out a little bit? As a guest, you need to be making sure that the entire place is set up for you. It's just for you that everything has been made. Everybody's coming there to work for you. They will make sure that you will be comfortable and you can in fact spell it out. You can in fact go and say, hey, you know what, I don't understand this at all. Can you please help me out? There's no shame in that. That is the first step. And then you gradually go ahead and then try the specials and go to the manual bar. Then you go get coffee at home. Then you buy equipments. Then you start brewing at home. Then you go for championship. That's how the ladder goes. So now how do you make the most of that entire experience? I think when you go abroad, and if you abroad, and I'm just saying any other, not abroad exactly, but any other cafe. Yeah, it's not about abroad, my bad. It's about any other specialty coffee shop that you go to. How do you make the most of that thing? Because you're not gonna consume like 10 cups of coffee, right? So I would say, if it was me, I would go for their pour overs, like the manual brew, and then I would probably try one of their specials. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure, but manual brew, so for sure I'll go for, and I'll go for an espresso just to have a sip of how the espresso is tasting. But that's me. For you, you could maybe have the same beverage that you've been having over here at your regular coffee shop. Have that beverage, order that beverage, try that out. And I'll make sure one thing, most important thing, that I'll see what are the peak hours of that cafe and not go there ever in the peak hours. Ever. Because that is a time when you, in service, you won't get quote unquote specialty coffee. It'll be just a service coffee. Alright, that's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. How to be a good host or a brewer or a person who's taking down an order. Now, remember a few pointers. You could be working behind the bar for 10 years. You could be working behind the bar for 2 days. It does not matter. You just have to be honest with the guest thoroughly. Like, even if you don't know something on the menu, or I'll put a situation. A guest walks in. Now, the guest is also apprehensive. You are also apprehensive because it's just been 2 days, 3 days, or a week that you've been in the cafe. And you both are apprehensive, you don't know what to talk and sort of a thing. So you can just be honest about it. Hey, you know what, this is my first week. And I'll take down an order. If any questions that I can't answer, I'll ask my senior to come up forward and talk to you. You can be that brutally honest. That is exactly what you want. That is exactly what a guest wants. If I go to a cafe, and if the brewer keeps faffing around, oh, this and that, because it's happened a lot of times. It's a put off. So then does not matter. You must have brought like 90 plus coffee of India. I wouldn't have enjoyed it. So you have to make sure that you ask the right questions. You start with the right approach, that what kind of coffee do you like? If that is not a question that somebody asks, somebody can answer, the classic answer would be like, I just want plain, simple, either hot or cold coffee. And then you gotta ask the question in that structured manner that, hey, let's do one thing. I'll give you a cappuccino. It's a hot coffee, blah, blah, blah. Or I'll give you an iced latte, which is like a simple. So the answer to entering anybody into the coffee industry, I think, is is cappuccino and iced latte. They are the answers. They are the gateways. Think about that. If you shove down pour overs and black coffees to a customer, ki, hey, you know what, this is what specialty coffee is, it's a very repulsive thing. You can't do that. You really should not do that. So try to make it very soft gestures, like cappuccino is good, this is good. Ask them if this works for them. Next time when they come, then you ask them, ki, you know, you have tried a cappuccino, why don't you try a cortado? You tried an iced latte, why don't you go for something else? That is how you gradually build up. If they don't understand anything, don't show that they are stupid. The moment you do that, just get yourself out of the coffee industry or any service industry for sure. You are there for them. You're not there for yourself. Remember that. You're there to help them order. You're there to guide them through and to make sure that their experience and their understanding of coffee gets better. Also, one thing that you might just overdo at times is giving too much information without even being asked and without the guest even understanding what they are listening to. Like, for example, if a guest is sitting somewhere and you start, okay, this coffee is from Bengal origin and this coffee is altitude and this processing, and the guest has lost it. He is not responding. You gotta stop. You gotta just stop and say, you know what, I think I'm just talking too much. Can you please enjoy your coffee? And then we'll talk. So you have to give information in a very better structured manner rather than just going on and on without somebody enjoying it. So that's how a specialty coffee industry should, I hope, go. Everybody should work collaboratively and everybody should enjoy that their own space. There is no harm in somebody adding sugar into their coffee. To each their own. Don't judge or don't be scared to be judged. That does happen in coffee. So this video is more about non-scientific approach of a coffee thing, but more of like, how do you approach a guest, or how as a guest you should approach the specialty coffee industry. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've got any other pointers with your experiences, please put down in the comment section below, and make sure you share, like and subscribe. Thank you so much.